Lord, the one thing we know for sure is whenever the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills get together, there's going to be an argument. Somebody is going to start crying. And it's also good to know that Denise Richards' husband still has big muscles and a big dick. Y'all want to talk about it? Here. Nessa girl, let me tell y'all something. I actually recorded the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills yesterday, the video, and the file was corrupted. I stayed up till like 1 o'clock in the morning trying to upload it. It wouldn't work. And so here I am on Friday, a day late and $1 short, but I'm here nonetheless. I may not come when you want me, but I am always, what? On time. At any rate, the episode opens up with Sutton and Kyle and Erika in the car. They're on the way to Teddi's event, and Sutton goes, you know, I'm going to be on my best behavior. Yes, ma'am. And thank you for inviting me, ma'am. And I'm looking at Sutton like, bitch, you should have been on your best behavior from the very beginning, and maybe we wouldn't have had this problem. Then we get down to the event. The girls pull up in the parking lot, and Sutton starts crying, talking about, I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. And she starts crying. And I'm looking at her with my head tilted to the side. And I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me right now. Classic victim mentality. You started this whole shitstorm with Teddi, making these off-the-wall comments about her personality, about her event, being all bold and whatnot. And now you want to, oh God, I'm so nervous. I can't stand people who play victim to circumstances in which they created. You know what, Sutton? You should be nervous. You deserve every bit of angst and anxiety and fear and everything else that you're feeling in that moment. And I am glad that Teddi was classy enough to walk up, hug you, greet you, and leave you over there feeling stupid as you should be. Then the ladies start the event and Sutton does the boxing. Lord, you know, that boxing scene showed to me that Sutton is really an insecure woman wrapped in Dolce & Gabbana, right? Because here's the thing. She's so conscious and cognizant and fearful of what people are going to think of her that she can't even let loose. It cost absolutely no energy and very minimal brain cells to do this. I mean, it's literally a back and forth motion. And God forbid you throw in a switch and you have to take 2 steps over. And like the fact that Sutton was so stuck in her own head that she couldn't do this, it said to me, wow, she's on 24/7 thinking about how am I going to look? What are people going to say? Oh my God, it just looked so pathetic, especially considering you had women from all walks of life in that room. Many of them were out of shape, overweight, and they were able to get with the program. And she just was unable to get, you know, it's weird. And so many times we envy these rich people because they have money and fashions. But I'm gonna tell you something. I would never in a billion years want to show up in the world that weak. That was so pathetic and weak that I'm glad they went to commercial break because I couldn't handle much more of that. At any rate, the ladies sit down after boxing and they start talking, and Kyle and Dorit get into a small squabble about this goddamn invitation again. Now see, this is the one thing that drives me crazy about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and kind of New York, that they take the smallest molehill and turn it into a mountain. And I think in the past, that's why I've been unable to get with these franchises, because I'm just like, y'all, we're playing a game of semantics right here. We're twisting words, we're reaching, and it's just becoming, I can't, this is not a real problem. Like, the way somebody was invited, this is not a real problem. come or don't come. But to sit here and have several episodes, and like this episode, an entire episode dedicated to how somebody was invited, I just can't get jiggy with it. Nevertheless, Kyle says that Dorit says, I want to come support you, makes it feel like it's a job. And Dorit takes offense and says, well, if it was a job, do you think I would actually be here? No, I want to be here. Kyle also takes exception with the fact that Dorit gets there and she's late because she was in Glam. Now, I will say this. Throughout the episode, Kyle made a big deal about Dorit being late for Glam. Yes, it is fucked up. And much like Kyle, it would have probably annoyed me internally. But it wouldn't have annoyed me to the point where I would have made a big deal about it outwardly. So what? It's not like Dorit had the keys to the gymnasium. Dorit had the check for the caterer. Dorit had the supplies for the meditation and she was late because of Glam. Dorit's presence was non-germane to the success of that event. So Kyle, why were you so bothered by the fact that Dorit chose to be late? Now here's the other thing I will say to Dorit. Here's what's messed up, right? If you're gonna come support a friend, then I think that it's expected that you come and fully be present. To Kyle's point, you came in Glam, you got on Instagram with your workout clothes on, but then when you got there, you didn't want to work out, you had no interest in meditation, all you wanted to do was drink and keep up mess. So if I was Teddi, I'd be looking at you on the sidelines thinking to myself, thank you for coming, but you could have stayed home because you're actually in the way. And here it is, you said you wanted to support me. You have an opportunity, being a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, to interact with these women and to do it too. That in itself would be the type of support I need for this event to be successful, and for me to be able to have it next year, and for me to maybe get some good marketing materials. Instead, you're just here showing face, which really says, girl, I really don't want to be here, but I just came to say hey. And here's what I like about when they got back to the hotel room and started arguing, right? Erika Jane said, can't we all just agree that nobody wants to be here? And face it, guys, nobody did. And let's not pretend like we all do not go to events out of obligation sometimes. When I lived in Atlanta, they had events every night of the week, sometimes 2 and 3 events, and you would have to go show face in support of whoever was throwing the event. And I thought to myself, you know, what does showing face mean? Until I started throwing events and having parties. And what it means is sometimes you put your all into something, and A, you just need people to come show face to make your event look like people are there, for one. 2, you just, sometimes it looks good in the midst of chaos to look out in the audience and see a familiar face. And C, B, 3 or C, whatever, same place in the index. If ever you throw an event, you're going to want a body count, and you're going to want people to show up and support as well. So Dorit could have did a better job of being supportive, but listen, at the end of the day, the bitch was there. So Sutton and Teddi sit down at the bar, and Sutton apologizes to Teddi. I will say this was the first time since Sutton's been on this show that I wasn't irritated by her presence. I was like, okay, you know, I like this Sutton. This comes off to me as genuine and real, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think happened, right? I think what was so off-putting about Sutton is that she came in with this whole Southern Belle shtick. She's from Augusta. She, you know, was a debutante, and she's rich, and she's this, and she's got manners and etiquette and so on and so forth. But her actions were contrary to everything she said out of her mouth. I am of the belief that Sutton got on this show and Lisa Rinna said to her, girl, in order to get a contract, you're going to have to bring it. You're going to have to be sassy. You're going to have to be sassy. Girl, you're going to have to be sassy, okay? Kind of like a black woman. You're going to have to be sassy and outspoken. And you're going to have to challenge these bitches. And you can't be afraid. And I think that Sutton preyed on Teddi. I think that Sutton walked in the room and realized Teddi was the easiest one to come after, and she, you know, went after Teddi. I honestly think that is what happened, and I think she realized that somewhere along the way that she in her pursuits of trying to garner a contract for this show. And I imagine after Sutton got over her freshman angst and kind of settled in more, she was able to find her natural rhythm with the ladies and stop being so sassy. Nevertheless, I did enjoy her apologizing to Teddi, and it did feel genuine. What I did not like was Dorit sitting 3 chairs down from Sutton and Teddi, keeping up mess, talking about, I don't really like what she said, and I don't think I'm invited to the dinner. I don't think she wants me at the dinner, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, come on, Dorit. Like, girl, let it go. You can't still be this freaking perturbed by this whole invite situation that we've been dealing with since Sutton had her opening party for her restaurant in West Hollywood, where the mayor did not know her name. Then they go to the hotel room and they are still going, and Dorit says she's leaving early, and Kyle says, girl, how you gonna come late and leave early? And Dorit said, well, I don't want to sit up at a dinner that I'm not wanted at anyway. But Dorit, you are the one creating the circumstance by which you are not wanted at the dinner, because you will not let the shit go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Ain't that a song from Frozen? I need somebody's little cute little kids to come in and sing Let It Go. So anywho, they get to the dinner scene. Is it me, or did Denise Richards look like death becomes her? Denise Richards looked like she was either high, drunk, or freshly fucked, or a combination of all three, coming down them stairs all slow with them big Lisa Rinna inspired lips. Looked like her makeup was smudged. Looked like her eyeliner was smudged. It looked like she was slurring down the steps, and I know slurring is something you do with your speech, but she was slurring with her body down the steps. I was like, oh my God, honey, is she in part 2 of Death Becomes Her? And I just didn't know what the fuck was going on. So she comes to the table and asks the girls, how was everything? Was it fun? And Lord have mercy, Jesus, why did she do that? Sutton was like, oh yeah, maybe that's not a question you want to ask, because things got all uncomfortable again. And here go Dorit in her ponytail, once again, kicking up confusion. And Kyle starts explaining all of Dorit's sentiments. And Dorit goes off on Kyle saying, why are you making me look like the bad person? Dorit did a very good job of flipping that on Kyle. And Kyle was not making you look like a bad person, Dorit. Kyle was simply just explaining to the group all the things you have been saying, and the fact that you picked up on the fact that it makes you look like a bad person, Dorit, is proof that you probably are the bad person in this situation. Moving right along, they take us to Lisa Rinna and her daughter having smoothies. I'm conflicted about the Lisa Rinna scene with her daughter, right? And so bear with me, because I don't want to be insensitive to mental illness. But my knee-jerk reaction was, this is some rich, spoiled bitch shit, because millions of people every year go away from home, go away to college, thousands and hundreds of miles away, and their asses turn out just fine, right? However, as somebody who suffers with depression and anxiety themselves, though my anxiety has not been to that extreme, I have to make allowance for this girl having an anxiety disorder, because if not, I'd be the biggest hypocrite, right, with mental health. The question that I have, though, was, is it true anxiety, or is it I'm spoiled and I miss my mommy? Or is it the thought of being so far away from home triggering the anxiety? I mean, she's now enrolled in school closer to home, so my question is, has her anxiety magically gone away? And if it has, and I'm not a doctor, but it suggests to me that, they need to put some mechanisms in place to kind of wean her off the teat. Or whatever the case may be, because hundreds of thousands of kids go away to college every year, and the gradient of growth suggests that around that age you should kind of be comfortable doing your own thing and not have to be so tied up under mommy. And it didn't make it, and I think the part that made me most uncomfortable is Lisa Rinna supported the bullshit by saying, well, I went to Oregon, college in Oregon, I didn't last for 5 days, and then I came home and went somewhere else for 2 months or 2 weeks and then dropped out. And it was almost like saying, Like, yeah, it's okay to go to school and not like it and drop out. And no, that's not okay, because at the end of the day, your daughter has a better chance of being a doctor or a lawyer than she does an actress. And that's just true tea. You've got a better chance being a physician than you do a successful YouTuber. To all you young people out there listening to me, you've got a better chance becoming a civil engineer, an industrial engineer, a nurse, an accountant, a doctor, hell, an astronaut before you do a movie star, or a reality star, or NBA player, or football player. School, I'm going to always push school. Nevertheless, this ain't about school. I'm just glad to see that Lisa's daughter is doing better. And, I came down on Lisa for talking about her daughter's eating disorder, but her daughter strikes me as someone who is mature enough to handle the conversation publicly. And I do like the fact that Lisa is using her life to kind of shed some light on what's going on with mental illness and things of such. So Denise and Aaron are planning a party at their nice Malibu home. Giselle and Mike co-parenting. Oh my God. So, we've always heard about Giselle writing this scathing letter to Mike and his employees about him cheating on her. But and that left me thinking that, the relationship was tumultuous and they were not, seeing eye to eye. But I love the fact that Giselle and Mike are co-parenting elegantly, without a hitch. Everything is beautiful. Giselle's sons, I really love Giselle's sons, and I love that Giselle is not so Beverly Hills that she don't know how to be black. Buddy said he wanted some Gucci. Garcelle, I can call her Giselle. Garcelle, do you got Gucci money? In a true black mama fashion, you got Gucci money? You need to get you a Gucci job. Yes, God, Garcelle, Lord have mercy, I done butchered this woman's name all throughout this video. I loved it. Now, is it me, or were y'all thrown by the fact that Garcelle was celebrating the fact that her sons were getting their own rooms? Now, Giselle, I thought you was rich like this and not like this. And from the looks of your house, when you looked out your window at your current house, there are hills and mountains. It's hard for me to believe that overlooking those hills and mountains, your house ain't got enough room for your sons to have their own room. Garcelle, I'm going to call the Beverly Hills Division of Child Protective Services if I find that your children are sleeping in bunk beds and you got a whole room dedicated to makeup, glam, and clothes. It would seem to me, with all those hills and mountains, that you would at least have 3 or 4 bedrooms in the house, and your 11-year-old sons would not be in bunk beds. The fact they didn't say they were happy about going to a new school, making new friends. They said they was happy about getting off the bunk beds. Garcelle, let me find out you broke like this and not like this, okay? Work ain't honest, but it pays the bills. Nevertheless, that was really cute to see. Garcelle and her boys. Kyle talking to Mauricio about her and Dorit not talking on her way as she's getting prepared for Denise's party. Let me tell you something. I couldn't even get into Kyle telling that story because I was too enamored by that big ass Beethoven that was up under Kyle's makeup desk trying to hide between her knees and in her butt while Mauricio was taken aback too. She's like, are you listening to me or are you paying attention to the dog? We are paying attention to the dog, okay? Because this big 13-pound, 113 pound is up under this desk while you try to do makeup. And the gag is, the people say that's not mink lashes Kyle got on. They say that's Humane Society hair. Yes, God. And they say when you kiss Kyle like this, that it smell like dog. They say it's her lashes. They didn't say her breath stink. They say she wear nice perfume, but they say her lashes smell like dog. I don't make the news, I'm just reporting it. I just tell you what the people said. Kyle, I just think it's all kind of unsanitary to be putting stuff in your face and your eye and in your mouth when you got that shedding ass dog up under your legs after you done got out in the shower and you got your robe on and all that type of stuff. And what in the hell, the dog must have been scared of the camera people. That makes sense, that he tried to cower up under your damn makeup desk in between your knees. That shit was funny as hell. At any rate, so Kyle's telling Maurice about how her and Dorit aren't talking. Then we fast forward to Garcelle in the car with Dorit saying they're not talking, and it's like, oh my God, oh my God. So then we get to Denise's party. Kyle gets to Denise's party and questions Denise's having a diamond ice sculpture. Why Why can't Denise have nice things, Kyle? You're not the only one who can have nice things. Now, I know she said she not getting no child support money from Charlie Sheen or whatever, but that don't mean that lady can't have nice things. See, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If she didn't have decorations, you bitches be talking about she had a backyard boogie. The lady do have decorations, and now you're mad about her having nice things. Even Sutton didn't complain this episode about name cards and whatnot. She sat her ass the fuck down, and Kyle complaining about this lady having an ice sculpture. Kyle, let this lady have her ice sculpture. Get your cocktail and sit your ass the hell down. Garcelle gets there, she kind of whispers to Kyle, you know, yeah, Dorit's kind of upset about what's going on and maybe you guys should talk. All the while, Denise upstairs late as hell. Now, I'm surprised Sutton didn't complain about Denise being the hostess with the mostest, being the latest. That was worth talking about. So then, baby, we get down to the dirty dancing, to the dirty talk. Garcelle lets it be known that she has been with the girl. Erika Jane lets it be known that she's had a threesome. All of a sudden, Sutton is magically comfortable. Last time, Erika was talking about sex. Oh my God, that's not dinner table talk. This time, she was like, so what makes it a... How have you not been a girl? What makes it a threesome? Whatever question she asked, and Erika said, well, 2 vaginas, 1 penis. So then Denise is like, oh my God, there are children over there, guys. Now, Denise, you created the cardinal sin of parenting. Everybody knows that if you don't want a child to hone in on something, don't call attention to it. Just like if a child curses, don't give a reaction, turn your head a baby, and they'll keep going. Denise, you went over to those teenagers and announced that there was naughty conversation going on, which I remember being a teenager. That's going to make me tune in even more. And let's face it, the conversation was not so X-rated to the point where those kids did not understand what the fuck was going on. The fact that we saw in the preview that your daughter was able to reiterate the word threesome, she knows what it means already. Not saying that it's appropriate, but I'm sure your children have watched R-rated movies or some of the shows and movies that their father has been in. Cut the bullshit, okay? You live in Malibu with the rich kids like this and not like this. They doing drugs, meth, and every other thing at the age of 14. Ask Drew Barrymore. Nevertheless, Garcelle then says she had been in a threesome too with 2 other women. Pussy don't fail me now. I'm about to turn this mother out because you don't want nobody else but me and only me. I know that's right, Garcelle. Work ain't honest, but it pays the bills. And they say the coochie don't cheat on you like the dick. I'm just telling you what the people said. I don't know from experience, but that's just what they said. Shut your mouth. Then, last but not least, we could not get out of there without somebody fussing and crying because Kyle and Dorit start back up about Kyle's blind defense of Teddi, per Dorit. Here was the thing that got me with this scene, right? Kyle started bitching about Dorit not coming there being fully participative or fully participating. I don't know why that bothered Kyle so much. And the same, Denise was like, but Kyle, what's it to you? And at the point in which Teddi isn't complaining, Kyle, what is it to you? So then Dorit hits back with, well, since you want to complain about that, I want to complain about the fact that you and Teddi are a package deal. Nobody can say anything without Teddi without you jumping in. Maybe that's true. I haven't watched the show long enough to know, but I will say this. Teddi's energy is so kid sister-like that maybe Kyle feels it's necessary to take up for Teddi because y'all prey on her. Then Kyle goes into this whole, I know you're not talking. I don't take up for people out of like. I take up for what's right. I lost my friendship with Lisa Vanderpump over you. I take up for Rinna. I take up for everybody. And Rinna says, not always. I mean, when it comes to your sister, and they did a flashback. And I'll say this. Lisa Rinna, you hit below the belt and you were dead ass wrong. That is her flesh and blood. When it comes to her sister, she is supposed to blindly take up for her sister. The same way you blindly took up for your husband and threw that glass at Kim. When Kim told you, don't make me put out what you don't want out, which was your husband was a drunk and an alcoholic and had an affair with the scotch bottle, okay, you got up and was ready to throw. You blindly took care of him. And unfortunately, what Kim was saying was the truth, was the God honest truth. And you took up for your husband. So surely you can understand what it is like to blindly have a family member's back. That's what family is. unconditional, you got my back situation. So Lisa, you hit kind of low in that situation, and I understand why Kyle got overwhelmed and cried. That was a very, very, very low blow, and it actually took the heat off of Dorit and put it on you. That just was not the time, Rinna. You just could have kept your damn mouth closed and ate your damn fajitas. At any rate, that's the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I got to get in here and watch the Real Housewives of New York and a couple other things I'm going to give y'all today. And I'll call you back. Be sure to like and subscribe. Bye.